Hello, everybody, and welcome to United Way. Live United. I'm Terry Westerfield, and joining me today, we have friends in from the Arc of Greater New Orleans, and we're here to talk about programs, about theater projects, and just about everything in between. I want to welcome to today's program Tom Barnes. Tom is the Director of Employment Services Individual Options at Arc of GNO. Hi, Tom. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Terry. Thanks for having us.
And I'm glad you came on. You also brought along, and Valerie, welcome back, Valerie Santamont, who is the Associate Director of Individual Options, and she is the producer of Interact NOLA. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks again for having us.
Oh, always entertaining, always, and a pleasure to meet today Jennifer Pagan, who is the Director of Interact NOLA's latest theater production. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello there, Terry.
And last but not least, my friend Melissa Meza, who is the Vice President of Community Impact for United Way of Southeast Louisiana. How are you doing, Melissa?
Hi, Terry. Doing great. Thank you.
I'm glad you could all make it today, and this is always a great show because it's such a great organization. For all of you listening out there, Arc of Greater New Orleans is one of United Way of Southeast Louisiana's community impact partners or partner agencies. Now, the ARC is celebrating 60 years of service to the community and is committed to securing for all people with intellectual disabilities or delays from birth through adulthood the opportunity to develop, to function, and to live to their fullest potential. They serve more than 1,000 people with intellectual disabilities in Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Bernard parishes. And as the ARC has changed with the times, well, we'll soon be able to enjoy funky times at the Blue Doors Shack. And whoops, I'm seeing Valerie. We have another name. Have I made
that
a
was
mistake?
so last year.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Valerie,
This
my
year.
apologies. My apologies.
But
Well,
it was
now-
such a fun title. It's
well,
always
it
good to say it again and
was.
again.
It was. Well, then, all right, crossing that one off, she's
Our-
going to enlighten us about the program.
It's about time.
It's about. I knew there was a time in there. Okay. It's about time
We
I
like
learned
those
that
times.
title, huh? Valerie, we're going to come back to you and Jennifer because we do want to hear all about it. It is an amazing theater presentation. It's going to kick off September 27th, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to come back, but first I want to talk a little bit about, we often use the term, say we're community impact partners or your partner agencies, and sometimes we have questions from listeners. They say, well, what exactly does that mean? And I'm thinking, our expert here from United Way, yes, Melissa's doing the cheer. Melissa, please explain to folks who are listening in, to our supporters and our donors out there, what it means and when we interact like this. A kick back there, folks. You understand that? Interact. All right. And how we're all partners in what we try to do in solving community issues.
Well, to be a community partner with United Way is really not an easy feat, to say the least. I mean, first of all, these agencies have to go through a very extensive financial review of their audits in their 990s. They really need to prove that they are financially stable, that they have good revenue flow, good cash flow. I mean, and we have volunteers who review their audits, they review their 990s, and anything that kind of, shows a red flag, this is something that we investigate further, and it's only when we feel comfortable, when those volunteers say yes, they can move forward, do we actually move forward in the process of having them become a partner. And then once they clear that financial step, then they submit a RFP, which is a request for a proposal, that really tells us and the volunteers that make our funding decisions how they are going to be addressing the issues within the community. And for ARC, we have a strategy, which is assist those with disabilities. And the two main areas is early intervention as well as supports for independence. And we're super, super excited to have ARC partner with us in both of those strategies with programs. We have total around 9 programs that provide services on the North Shore as well as the South Shore. We grant approximately $115,000 a year to this particular area. By no means is it it's a drop in a bucket, but hopefully it is something that the programs can utilize to leverage additional dollars and additional resources for their program clients.
And that's why we're always saying here, the charitable organizations have to work together, and especially when it comes to donations and support through that, whether it is through donor dollars, advocacy, volunteerism, we all have to work together or we will not be able to delve into some of these problems and provide the solutions that are necessary for our region.
Right.
Melissa, don't downplay what impact the monies that we do receive from y'all. We, as most nonprofit agencies and most of us do, I think that we're running on a very tight budget, and so that any monies that we are receiving, and these have been tough times for the last few years. So what we get from United Way is crucial to us continuing to do it, and it is, as Terry said, we're able to leverage it to provide services. And to
Well,
do more.
I'll tell you this, working with the volunteers, they wish they had more. They wish they had more
Always.
to be able to provide, especially for individuals and for programs who are addressing individuals with disabilities. That is one area that when we look out into the community, there are resources that are out there. We just want more quality resources. And can I talk about one of the reasons why
Please
I really
do.
enjoy ARC?
Well, let's do, because I have a lot of reasons why we enjoy ARC, but you started off.
No, as I mentioned before, we have a number of partners that work with us in the area around disabilities. However, one of the things that really inspires me about the ARC is how progressive they are as an agency. It is no longer, like driving your grandpa's automobile. I mean, they're really thinking out of the box, and we're going to hear one of those examples today. But they're just so innovative with how they're working with their clients. I mean, if you want to call it a client, and their care providers and their families, and it's just real innovative. And so I don't mean to put Tom on the spot, but if you wouldn't mind kind of speaking to, or even Valerie, speaking to individual options and how y'all have taken that program and truly, y'all made it was revolutionary as far as how the changes took place.
I can start, and I'll ask for Valerie's help as I go. One of our main goals and objectives as an agency, and especially for individual options, and also for our employment services part, was to make our services more geographically accessible to the people that we serve. Following Katrina, we were downsized, and we were providing all of our services from one place on the East Bank and one community center on the West Bank. First thing we did was to in 2009 was to open an East Bank location to move those people that were traveling from Kenner to New Orleans to give them a little closer place, less time for them to be transporting, more time for us to be with them and providing services. In 2011, we also we met with community leaders in the St. Bernard Parish who were really progressive and wanted us to be there and helped us to find us place. And so in September of 2011, we were also able to open a center in Chalmette. That also allowed us to provide services to people from the lower Ninth Ward and New Orleans East and make it closer to them, less traveling time, more time with us. So,
Don't you have a farm?
well, there is quite a farm in
there are a number of things I've been
in
there,
St.
yes.
Bernard Parish. We have one farm in Jefferson Parish on LeBar Road, but the big one and the state of the art farm that we're really proud of is the one that's next to our building at 3700 Jean Lafitte Boulevard in Chalmette. The former Prince of Peace Church and the Archdiocese of New Orleans was gracious enough to grant us a lease for that, and we've been renovating and we're continue to renovate the area out there. But the farm is a big part of that, and that the farm leads to our whole sort of emphasis on green and healthy living. What individual options, one of the main focuses, and one of the things that we really report on to United Way is our health and fitness program, which includes going into the community, using community resources, and accessing those for people with disabilities. There's an identified need for people with disabilities to live more healthy lives, and that includes their eating habits and some exercise that's particular to that person's abilities and needs. And so that's one of our biggest things. And so as we continue to look at being geographically accessible, we are in the process of exploring the idea of gauging interest in opening a community center on the North Shore. We have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, September 26th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Catholic Charities at 690 East Highway 190 Service Road in Covington. I would encourage all interested parties, families, professionals, individuals with disabilities themselves to come. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to see how we can fit in best on the North Shore and to continue to provide the quality services that we do on the West Bank of Jefferson, East Bank of Jefferson, Orleans, and St. Bernard Parish. So it's just a natural progression for us as the Arc of Greater New Orleans. We consider certainly that Mandeville and Covington have become part of Greater New Orleans, and so we want to continue to provide those services to more people.
And Tom or Valerie, what kinds of services is particular? I mean, we talked about the farm, we've talked about some things that are going on, but is there something specific that you think that there is a need for that is not now there on the North Shore?
Well, the need that we are addressing at all of our locations right now are just trying to get people involved in their communities, you know, in whatever options they choose to be involved in. Our biggest pull is for people to get and volunteer at local community organizations. There's always needs for volunteers out there, and it's a good work-related experience for our folks who have never had a job or have never worked in competitive employment. It's a great beginning to work in learn the ethics of being employed and be able to hopefully move beyond the day program into employment opportunities. So we take a lot of pride in getting people out into volunteer, and plus we're providing a community service. So health and fitness is another large area where we are providing lots of different opportunities for people to be mobile. It became, it's a national, movement of people eating healthy and making the right choices. It's hard as heck for anybody to do that, but being able to reinforce this through our daily routines has become really successful in helping people to be more mobile and.
Yeah, and one of the ways that we have gauged the success of that program is we have an annual health fair where we are checking people out and seeing what their sugar level is, their cholesterol level is, and that has we've seen a great improvement over the years that we have begun to do our fitness.
I know that you serve more than 1,000. Do you think that there are more folks out there who would or could or need to avail themselves of your services, but they just don't have the opportunity at this time?
I think Valerie and I probably both on an almost daily basis come across people that have, for one reason or the other, are not aware of these services. So we're constantly, and with the help of United Way and you, Terry, trying to educate people about what is available. And
it's pretty astonishing, really, when you think about it, the number of people we come across that have no idea that there are funding sources to provide support services for people who are wanting to live in their own homes and be a part of their own communities without choosing more institutional-like supports. We come across people every day, who have no idea that ARCs are even, or programs like the ARC are even available, and you have an adult with a disability who is sedentary, sitting at home with no options and nothing to participate in besides family and family gatherings. So if you know of somebody and they don't seem to be involved in anything, please pass along that there are supports out there to make a day more meaningful and and more fun.
Do you think there's still the misnomer out there? And the reason I ask this, because we're talking about ARC, talking about all the different services provided. Somebody said, oh, I didn't know there were that many children who had Down syndrome. And you're trying to explain it's not just about that. It may have had some roots initially, but it far surpassed, because these are people that have all different types of intellectual disabilities.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, we do, of course, serve people with Down syndrome, but there's the autism spectrum that is growing and being identified better by physicians and psychologists. And so they fit into our scheme of things, and they benefit from our services also.
And I think some of the creative things that you're doing that I know that, Melissa, you'd referenced earlier, and you've been on before, Valerie. It's great. I'm glad Jennifer was able to join you today because Interact, and all right, I had the wrong title. I knew it had times, so bring me up to date on the times. Let me help get with the times and talk about this latest production and what this is about and how it engages the folks and the community who are involved with the ARC.
Well, I'd be very pleased to talk about this Interact NOLA project. It's a theater company, and it is inclusive of people with and without disabilities. And this is going on our second year. Last year was our maiden voyage, and we put on Funky Times at the Blue Door Shack, which was a huge success. We have people who have never been on stage, who have never sang in public, and we put on a first-rate original script, an original musical. And after that year was over, we started right back up in January and began our workshopping towards our second season show. This year, the show is entitled It's About Time.
And it's a bigger show than last year.
And it
It's
is
a lot more complicated.
majorly larger than last year. It is very
Bigger cast.
There's
More
30 people involved.
More script.
Lot of script, there's a lot of improv that goes on, and that's how actually the shows are developed, is through workshopping and learning the skill of improv, where you just take what's going on inside your head and become creative, and that kind of gives us the ideas for characters and for the storyline. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer has been a part of that as we've been, the show changes week to week. So, I mean, what we open with on the 27th is going to be
not be what we
amazing.
started with, but it's definitely, it's their show, because when you have a community ensemble theater project, a lot of times it starts from improv. I'm a graduate of the Conservatory at Second City, and so this is one of my big loves. And I spent a lot of years working with the CAC, the Contemporary Arts Center, arts programming there, and I did a lot of work with St. Michael's special school there with the kids. And we just integrated them in theater projects that we would do there in the summer and stuff. And but this is their show. They came up with the characters. They came up with the improv. And we have some people without disabilities that are in the show. And, Tom was talking about health and fitness. And I just have to say that the actor is the athlete of the heart. And we've got some Olympians in this cast. I'm telling you, they are just, and it's, we're working on things to give them not only, these lifestyle options, but it gives you life skills. We work on diction, enunciation. You work on emotional availability. How do I express an emotion? We've had some drama, just like you would in any theater production, and it's quite it's quite a learning experience for me in that it is. You can go in and say, oh, well, these are people with disabilities. They're just people, just like everybody else, and it's really been just so joyful. They've taught me lots of new dances and things that I had no idea about, make me feel like a total square. But this is a collaborative experience, and they've written some songs. So we've got some drama, some comedy. We even have a little romance, and one of the participants wrote a song. It's a beautiful song. We have a big dinosaur fight.
Oh.
So we're trying to create some big puppets for the guys that are in wheelchairs, and they are just over the moon to be able to get out on stage and have this huge dinosaur, T-Rex fight in one of the scenes. We're creating a time machine.
I mean, this
travel.
is sounding fantastic. I went to last year's show, and I think I was telling the guys earlier, it's like I left with my cheeks hurting so much because I was smiling. I mean, I was either laughing or I was going, "Oh my gosh, that's perfect." I mean, it was just one of the most incredible experiences. So I can't wait to see a T-Rex, fight
So
there.
not only do we go to the prehistoric times, but you'll find yourself in the 60s. You will find yourself in the future.
A very bleak future.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately,
Very bleak,
a very
and they
bleak.
solved the problem. And we also have a special guest coming,
Spoiler
Margie,
alert.
Margie Perez.
Margie, okay.
Who's with the Honey Pots, which is an amazing band. If you have never seen the Honey Pots, you must get out and see the Honey Pots. She is just such a fabulous singer and musician, and she has written a song. And Valerie had asked her to come in and write a song. She works with the bead recycling program for ARC, and I know Margie for many years, and this kind of cured her writer's block. So not only is it a gift to us that she's coming and performing this song, but she's also a gift to her that we were able to kind of like dislodge her creative block. So it's truly
And her,
collaborative.
yeah, and Margie's special appearance actually is going to be a tribute to the 50th anniversary of the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King, who you may see in the 60s scene.
A little irreverent. It's a little irreverent.
So that's about
but-
all we're going to give up as far as what you're going to see in this
And
show.
again, you're tantalizing us because, as you said, it could change. We might have to come every night.
We have some,
know.
we have some amazing performers, and we just trying to play. You play whenever you have just like a team, like Drew Brees and Sean Payton. You play to people's strengths, and so to see them, Valerie was laughing at me because I walk in, I'm like, okay, we're gonna dance, we're gonna sing, we're gonna do this, and they all looked at me. They're like, this is hard work. I said, you have to be in shape to be in theater. So, because there's a lot of moving around, there's a lot of singing and dancing at the same time, but just we warm up, we have fun. We have this thing called Awesome Time. Like, what time is it? And we'll say, Awesome time. And it's going to be an awesome time for everybody.
People who might have just tuned in are thinking, okay, well, this sounds lovely, but what on earth is it just fun? But as you all said again, this is providing teachable moments. It's letting individuals have an opportunity to express themselves. And often, as we hear more and more about the arts programs being cut from all levels, this is something that people have a chance to build self-esteem and to shine.
Speaking
This is-
skills and just all kinds of.
This is theater, this is community theater. And, what our dream would be as an outcome to all of this is that other community theaters would have their, be open to somebody coming in and auditioning that may have a disability, and that person being involved in another local community theater. So, we want to open these doors. There was no outlet for people's creativity, and we saw that we made that opening last year, and we're going to continue doing that, hopefully for a long time to come. We had a successful fundraiser. We had Bright and Tight Night back in July, and we had a lot of support for that. We are still looking for some volunteers to work backstage. Like Jennifer was saying, we've got very progressive with our costuming this year, and we have lots of costume changes. So if anyone is out there, we have a Facebook page, Interact NOLA. If you like it on there and want to volunteer your services backstage or wherever in our program, please let us know. All the information is on our Facebook page.
And
we
I know
also
it's there,
have
but
it.
go ahead.
We also have
Please.
it on NOLA on Stage. So we also would like to engage the local theater community to come out and support it, and check out. I put a call out to any volunteers that can come and help backstage on NOLA on Stage, which is also on Facebook.
But again, if you don't mind, ladies, tell us when, where, and the time and the cost.
Opening night is Friday, September 27th at St. Martin's Episcopal School. It's the Solomon Theater. I believe it's on Green Acres. And the cost for all the shows are their general admission. They're $10. After our September 27th show, we will be moving on to the Orleans Parish in Dillard University, October the 11th and 12th. That is the Cook Fine Arts building. That's the big theater they have on campus there.
Gorgeous theater.
And then we'll close on October the 18th at Nunez College, which, all are very, very generous. All three of these schools and theaters have been so generous to open their doors to us with such fine state-of-the-art theaters that, we're very blessed to have that. So, buy your tickets, go online, check it out. Call us at the ARC at 897-0134 for tickets or ticket information. And come out and see the show because it is about time.
And it's awesome time.
And it's awesome
I was just
time.
saying, we need awesome time at work every day, I believe. But again, this is just something so wonderful and unique and lovely. But there are so many things that the ARC does provide for the community and for our residents. Tom, again, because being the Director of Employment Services, there are so many other things that you're working in for the folks. Can you talk about some of those as well?
Absolutely. And again, I just want to commend Valerie and Jen. I've been to some rehearsals, and it makes my day. I have to sometimes get from behind my desk and go sit somewhere and to be reminded of what I'm doing and what's the meaning of what I'm doing. And the theater program does that better than anything else. And it's really important. And and everything is kind of combined. Is that they're talking about the theater program and we're talking about fitness. Well, when I go and watch these rehearsals, there is a big fitness aspect of this theater, and I think for Jen as well, she's jumping up and down off the stage and running around.
After one scene, I could not breathe for 5 minutes.
I know, I kept saying, you got to go lower, Valerie, go lower.
But anyway, back to what you asked. Yeah, we are proud of our employment services program. We provide through our ARC Enterprises, where we have businesses that employ people with intellectual disabilities for the most part in our businesses. One of the newer ones is our Vintage Garden Cafe in the food court of the St. Charles Place. Terrific food, wraps, salads, soups. And we have also the Vintage Garden Kitchen that's located on LeBar Road, 925 LeBar, where you can come and purchase our healthy, delicious soups that are cooked there by our executive chef and by a crew of people with intellectual disabilities. We have landscaping service where we employ people, janitorial services, vending programs. So, and all of this, what I want is moving to our satellite centers. And so, as we look at the North Shore and we look at moving over there, we will be looking at providing the individual job aspect initially of our employment services, where we place people into a community business, provide the support for them to succeed in that job, whether it be a grocery store, a hotel, a fitness center, whatever that person expresses as their interest. And and one of the other things about our move to the North Shore is I'm really excited about the resources that are available there, especially for fitness and some of the community sites that we will be able to access to bring the people to do whatever. I mean, we're doing water aerobics, from horseback riding, canoeing,
Line dancing,
and we're excited about spreading this type of service around. We think it's a little different than any other service that may be available. Not better, not worse, different. And so we're really excited. And again, let me just plug one more time. This Thursday, September 26th, at the Catholic Charities Building, 690 East Highway 190 Service Road. It is near the Siemer Street on the 190 Service Road, just north of I-12, 6 to 7:30. We look forward to seeing people there so we can spread the word and hear from you as to what we can do.
And Tom, if people would like more information, is there a phone number that
call
is different?
Me at 504-837-5105, and I'll be happy to talk to you and tell you what we're looking to do and what we're planning to do. But again, we want to hear from the community to tell us what they need.
Thank you so much. Tom Barnes, Director of Employment Services Individual Options at the ARC of Greater New Orleans. Valerie St. Amant, who is the Associate Director of Individual Options and producer of Interact NOLA. Jennifer Pagan, who is the Director of Interact NOLA Theater Production. It's About Time. It sounds awesome. And Melissa Meza, who is our Vice President of Community Impact, United Way of Southeast Louisiana. I'm Terry Westerfield. And for United Way, let's all live united.
United.